Welcome to Watch Symposium, I'm Austin. All right, let's talk about this new Tudor, the LHD, left-handed drive, or left-hand drive. All right, so a little backstory. Tudor on their site indicated that something was coming out on the 17th. You know, you would go to their site and I think in big red letters, it's like 17th, or I can't remember what the tagline was, but something was going on the 17th. Something was being released, it was clear. On the Rolex forum, people were really excited about it. There was pages of people's guesses about what it was going to be. Some people thought it was going to be a GMT. But it's a left-handed Pelagos, and I can't say how other people feel about it, but I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, yeah, a left-handed watch, yay. Now, I'm not left-handed, and I think most people are not, so I imagine a lot of people are disappointed. I imagine a lot of people are like, okay, great, thanks, Tudor. You know, I really think they should have, it's fine to release a left-handed watch, but I think they should have released another model with it so everybody could have had a watch to talk about. We can talk about this watch, but as far as talking about it in a do you want it sort of way, well, I certainly wouldn't want one, and we'll talk about why. But yeah, I can't help but think that Tudor trolled us a bit. I was disappointed. So, but let's talk about it. So it's Pelagos, and the big feature is it's got the crown on the left side of the watch, which it looks weird to me. I feel like I'm seeing a mirror image of a watch, and something kind of makes me uncomfortable about it. Now, you know, if you're left-handed, this could be a cool thing for you, I suppose. You know, if anybody is left-handed, tell me how you feel, because I would be interested to see a genuine left-hander's opinion of this watch. Is it, you know, is it driving you mad with anticipation? Do you want to pick one up? For me, it's yeah, it's not designed for me, and so thanks, Tudor. But anyway, you know, there's some people that like wearing their watch in their right hand, and you hear some people talk about the crown digging into their hand. Wristwatch check, I'm wearing the Vostok. I actually just put this on 5 minutes ago. I took a shower, came out, wanted to make a video, just wanted to watch for it, so wound this up, set it, and that's why. But, you know, sometimes people will talk about the crown digging into their hand, they say. Now, I've never had that problem. I think if you have that problem, your watch is probably too loose. The only time I have that problem is when the weather starts to get colder, my wrist shrinks, and you know, I'm riding my bike, and the watch falls towards my hand, and the crown starts to, you know, hit the back of my hand. And it usually happens with the sub, because the sub has a pretty big crown. And usually what that means is it's time to micro adjust it. So I micro adjust it, is fine, and I never have that problem. So, but be that as it may, if that is a problem, I suppose having that crown sort of on the left side of your watch could remedy that problem. You know, for me, setting the watch and winding the watch just would feel really unnatural and uncomfortable for me. So, you know, setting a watch for me is sort of a big deal. Sometimes it takes me 5 minutes to set a watch, because I like to get the minute hand, you know, exactly on the marker. And sometimes when you push in the crown, it sort of you know, moves a little bit, and it takes a few tries. OCD, right? That's what that is. And trying to do it with my left hand just would be torture. I would never want to set that watch. And winding a watch is kind of a fun thing, would just feel like I'm doing it backwards. So no thanks. But for some people, obviously, it's probably going to be a cool thing. Now, how does this differ from a regular black Pelagos? Well, okay, aside from the obvious, one other thing is the watches are numbered, and I'll get back to that in a minute. Another different aspect is the word Pelagos is red, and the dates, the even dates are red and the odd dates are black, which sort of reminds me of a turnograph. I think turnographs have the same deal with the date. And instead of the indices being white, they're beige, which gives it a little bit of that vintage look, perhaps. You can see up in the inset there a little comparison. The top picture is the new one and just the regular black Pelagos on the bottom. So you can see it's slightly different color-wise. Now, okay, so they're numbering the watches, and I have a feeling they don't come out and say it, but I think they're sort of pushing this limited edition, only a set number. Now, what the number is, I can't tell you. I don't think they've released how many they're going to make, but I get the sense that they're trying to plant the seed of this is going to be the future red sub. You know, it's got the red Pelagos. I think any vintage watch enthusiast sort of makes that connection. It's got that beige indices, the beige beige hands, off-white basically, and I think that sort of introduces that image of the red sub, which, due to its rarity, is an expensive watch to get. And I think that sort of the unspoken seed that Tudor is trying to plant. And I'm certainly not buying the watch, but also not buying that. I don't think it'll ever become a sought-after watch. I mean, I don't care how rare a watch is. If it's a left-handed watch and it's weird, like the way I think the LHD is weird, I wouldn't want one. But the whole numbering gig on the back, look, I mean, all watches are numbered. They have a serial number, right? So, but to put it on the back is kind of like saying, limited number, kind of like a red sub, wink wink, what we're talking about, red sub, rarity. You might want to pick this one up for stick in the vault. It might fetch high price in the future, which, I would be very surprised. I would be very surprised. And, if you had all the money in the world, why not? I mean, you could pick one up and stick it in the safe and see what happens with it. But look, I think there are much better investments out there in terms of watches than that. I have a feeling that nobody's going to touch it in the future. Any other thoughts on it? It could be a sort of test to see how a left-handed watch works. And I mean, if this sells like crazy, and the left-handers come out of the woodwork to spend money on it, then you might see left-handed watches in the Rolex range. This could be sort of a test. I think Rolex would test through Tudor, or get Tudor to test for them. So I can't see Rolex doing this, and I can't see Rolex promoting the 17th and come back and see it being a damn left-handed watch. Anyway, it's a good-looking watch. If you're left-handed and you're into it, it would be a beautiful watch. Aesthetically, as far as the Pelagoses go, the Rehalt sort of slopes down and halfway covers the indices, and I don't know if I like that. I think I would like the Rehalt to be drawn back away from the indices a little bit more. I just think aesthetically, look, it's a beautiful watch. I mean, don't get me wrong, but if I'm really picky about things, I really like the indices to be unencroached upon. Okay, so that's the case with all of the Pelagoses. So it's not just this one. Anything else? When I heard about what it was, I here's what I thought. Right, but anyway, just thought I'd share my thoughts with you guys about that, and tell me what you think. And is there anybody seriously thinking about buying this watch? Keep in mind it's $4,000, and a little over $4,000 is what I paid for the no date sub, which no date sub, Tudor Pelagos. I mean, I'd go the no date sub any day. Obviously, you're gonna have to go. Pre-owned for that, but doesn't bother me. I think I will say that I think Tudors are just a bit expensive. I know compared to a new Rolex, not so. A new Rolex is going to be about $8,000. Tudor for just half the price. It makes sense, but I really think that a Tudor should be half the price of a used Rolex. So I think in the 2000, I think that's what would make me want to get a Tudor. And I probably would get a Tudor if it was $2,000. A new Tudor, $2,000? Oh yeah, I definitely would. But you're talking $4,000. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful Rolexes to be had. Nice vintage Rolexes, and if you're like a Rolex is a Rolex and a Tudor is a Tudor, and if you're a Rolex person like me, for the same price, why not get a Rolex? I know there are people that like Tudors, but for me, if you're talking the same money, definitely gonna go the Rolex route. Left-handers, what do you think about this? What do you think about left-handed watches? If you're a left-hander, do you like right-handed watches? What do you think? Anyway, let me know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.